gentlemen,
It's time for Politics with a Punch.
Ringside.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeff Crouere, and welcome to another edition of Ringside. Great program lined up for you tonight. A gentleman who's very familiar with New Orleans is going to be joining us next. Musician, artist, filmmaker Tony Green is going to join us. That's next, right here on Ringside. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A good friend is now joining us next. He's a musician, he's an artist, he's a filmmaker. He also has, I think, excellent commentaries. And he's joining us now to talk about a little bit what he's doing. He lives part of the year in Venice. Then he comes here for the holidays, and he's got all kinds of things going on during the holidays. I want to welcome our friend Tony Green. And how you doing, Tony?
Jeff, thanks for having me. You're always a big supporter, and you're a man with an open mind, and let people come and talk about things that a lot of places you don't get to hear about it. You know?
Well, thank you. That's certainly what I enjoy doing, and like to spotlight people that are talented, and you certainly are. And tell me, what you got a big exhibit going on here?
Yes, I do. I have an exhibit that's just opened up last Saturday. It's Christmas in Venice, and it's my latest oil paintings of Venice, because I've been living there for about 36 years now. But I'm still a New Orleanian, still connected to the city, but I like the life with no cars and no crime.
So, and we're going to show our viewers some of these pieces that you've done, and Venice must inspire you, right?
Absolutely, 360 degrees of subject matter. And I'm an old school landscape painter, so that means I take my easel, I set it up in the school of honest observation, which can get into other aspects of your life too.
Right. And so it's going to be at Stafford Tile?
And Stone, yes.
And Stone.
For those that know, it used to be the old Tyler's Beer Garden.
Oh, yeah.
And right next to the New Orleans Academy of Fine Arts. And it's a beautiful, beautiful shop. And please come by and see what I'm doing. You know?
Yeah, definitely. And that's going to be going on for how long?
Till the end of the month. And then eventually I'm going to, pull up stakes and go back to Venice.
Right. Now, before you do, though, New Year's Eve, and this might be something I'm looking forward to doing, and that is Cafe Degas. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we play, I played it for the last 15 years, I guess. It's a beautiful restaurant, Cafe Degas, up on Esplanade Avenue. Mm-hmm. The cuisine is fantastic. Jacques and Jerry are good friends of mine. So we play there every year. It's very civilized, nice atmosphere. Sometimes Bobby Abeth's been there the last 3 times, the Cajun Cannon. So, so they get really crazy. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
And do you play your gypsy jazz there?
Yes.
And tell us about gypsy jazz.
Gypsy jazz is a music. The great mentor is a guy called Django Reinhardt, who was a gypsy musician from the 30s and the 40s, who overcame the handicap of losing 2 of his fingers on his fretting hand. There was a fire in his little caravan thing, and he overcame the handicap to play with 2 fingers and his thumb, and started a whole legacy of this gypsy jazz, of which I am part of.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
It
inspiring.
It is.
Now, I want to let people know, you might want to check out this film that Tony has done. It's called Tony in the Ghetto. Tell us about that.
The ghetto. The ghetto is, because I live in the Jewish ghetto in Venice, and that is the original ghetto in the world, because the word ghetto is a Venetian word which means iron foundry, ghetto. So they used to make cannons and cannonballs there, and then as the Jewish diaspora was seeking sanctuary, they offered them that space, and all the synagogues are there. And so what I do in this film is that I just talk about things like aesthetics, the mind control, someone called Edward Bernays, who was one of the great propagandists, the nephew of Sigmund Freud, and how he used the media in order to create the consumer, and how he used the media in order to create the political candidate that everybody eventually votes for. So it's a lot of mind control technique, and today it's gone to such levels with the artificial intelligence that it has completely infiltrated our brains. Now, you might not think it is that way, but we're all microchipped because everybody has a cell phone in their pocket, right?
Now, let's talk in our final few minutes about what you're calling World War IV.
World War IV, humanity versus weaponized artificial intelligence. Right now in New Orleans, okay, they want to create something called a smart city. What is a smart city? They're bringing in 5G, okay, which is they're vamping up the Wi-Fi radiation. Oh yeah, you can download a film in 10 seconds, etc. But the health issues of that is just astronomical. You go look it up yourself. It's all part of something called Agenda 21, which I suggest you go do your own homework on it, but it's about taking the land away from people, giving it to the government, and then herding people into these zones, and complete control. I mean, those fires in California, now you're going to think this is a huge conspiracy theory, but you might want to look into directed energy weapons, because if you look at a map of California where those fires happened, it just coincidentally is the same route as where they plan to put in this high-speed train. And then they're going to build up all these government housing around it. So,
now, is Italy further along down this path than we are here?
We are the beta test, America.
Okay.
They always blame the Americans, but it was here that they first brought in the TV programming back in the 50s. What was it for? To break up the family, to destroy the middle class. And then they brought us the rap music, break up the family, destroy the middle class, bring us genetically modified foods to basically murder us. And then they try out all these things here first, and then it's exported to Europe and to Asia. In Asia, they're completely addicted to their smartphones, etc., to the point that Japan is having the lowest birth rate. People aren't having sex anymore. It's all virtual.
Yeah. So 5G is very dangerous.
Yes, I suggest there's a woman activist here who's fantastic named Raphael O'Neill, and she confronted the New Orleans City Council about this. And you need to look her up, Raphael O'Neill. She's got a lot of information that is very important, especially if you have children and grandchildren.
And what happened when she confronted the city council about it?
Well, they just adjusted their ties,
Right.
made sure that everything looked good, and off they went, because it hasn't affected them yet. But when their children get cancer, then maybe they'll start paying attention. But I hope that people don't wait until that happens.
In our final 30 seconds, so
Yes.
is your next film going to be about this issue?
The next film, I haven't thought about that yet. Right now I'm focused on this exhibition that I'm having uptown. I'm focused on being a good citizen. But one thing I might make my film about is that it's a spiritual war. Because at the end of the day, the only way we're going to defeat the weaponized artificial intelligence is that you got to get right with God.
Yeah. All right, Tony Green. So.